International. I am Elizabeth Omori, and our sign language interpreter is Shegun Ajayi. A look at the headlines. Nigeria converses effective collaboration and cooperation by international community towards combating prevailing security challenges. Nigeria establishes an export trade house in Kenya to expand its non-oil export drive to East African countries. And Senegal commends ECOWAS observation team for its role in ensuring peaceful conduct of its legislative election. Nigeria has made a strong case for effective collaboration and cooperation by the international community towards finding lasting solutions to the prevailing challenges of security, describing it as global threats to civilization. President Muhammadu Buhari, who met the request while granting audience to new envoys posted to Nigeria, expressed the belief that matters of security have become the business of all nations. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details.
The new envoys were in the State House, Nigeria's seat of government, to present their letters of credence to President Muhammadu Buhari. This is to mark the beginning of their representational duties in Africa's largest economy. The envoys are the Canadian High Commissioner to Nigeria, James Kingston Christophe, and the Mexican Ambassador to Nigeria, Juan Alfred Miranda Ortiz. President Muhammadu Buhari, who formally welcomed the envoys to Abuja, tasked them to not only build on the successes of their predecessors, but to further make efforts at expansion and advancement in relations with Nigeria across political, socio-economic, and cultural spheres.
The ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine has undermined the progress countries have achieved in tackling food security in the last decade, while the political instability in Libya continues to fuel terrorism in the Sahel, as well as scatter the democratic sustenance in both West and Central African regions. Nigeria is not left out of the equation as we are fighting to rid our country of banditry, kidnapping, harder farmer crisis, and insurgency. We are, however, making meaningful progress with the support of friendly countries like yours to sustain these fights until we overcome these challenges.
At the regional level, the president said Nigeria is working with other member states of ECOWAS and other regional blocs to deal with transborder and maritime crimes, illicit drugs, and human trafficking, as well as the unconstitutional changes of government. These challenges, he said, go beyond the abilities of any single country to effectively contain, and the urgent need for the world to work closely together at both bilateral and multilateral levels.
Nigeria is drawing closer to its 2023 national elections, and the candidates representing their parties at different levels are beginning to build a consensus within their respective parties in preparation for the launching of campaigns across the country soon. As the guns of campaign begin to rise, I urge you to be guided by diplomatic practice to ensure that your activities remain within the limits of your profession as you monitor the build-up and the conduct of the general elections.
The Canadian High Commissioner to Nigeria, who responded on their behalf, described as a true honor and pleasure for them to formally take up their positions in Abuja and begin official engagement with the Nigerian government.
Mr. President, we look forward to working with your ministers and officials and a wide range of stakeholders from across Nigeria to build the relationships that will underpin progress in areas of mutual interest.
And in carrying out their official responsibilities, the envoys have been asked to spare time to appreciate the uniqueness and strength in Nigeria's cultural diversities, which President Buhari said represent the pride and identity of the nation and its people. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Away from bilateral matters, President of Senegal and the chairperson of the Africa Union, Macky Sall, has commended ECOWAS for its support in the conduct of a peaceful and successful election. The president gave the commendation during a closed-door engagement with ECOWAS team at the presidential villa. Herman Jabani reports.
The close engagement with the ECOWAS team lasted over an hour. Speaking to NTA News, the head of ECOWAS mission on the legislative election says the discussion centered on the legislative elections and other related issues.
And also we explained to him the recommendation that we would want to place to improve in the future the process of election. But we recognize with him that the Senegalese election was peaceful and professional, and we congratulated him for all the institutions who took part of the organization of this election. And of course, I had the opportunity to convey to him the greetings of all the authorities of ECOWAS, including the new President of the Commission, the new Commissioner in charge of Peace, Security and Political Affairs.
How do you feel with the level of support ECOWAS is giving to his country in this election?
I think he appreciated it a lot. And, he has been chairman of the authority of ECOWAS, head of states and government, and he knows perfectly how ECOWAS works, and this is the reason why he believes that ECOWAS is in its role to come to observe the elections and also to make recommendations to them.
President Sall was elected as the chairperson of AU during 35th ordinary session of the Assembly of the Union in February 2022. From Dakar, Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
In another news, President of the African Development Bank Group, Dr. Kinumi Adesina, has been honored with the distinguished Ronald Herman Brown Award of International Distinction by the National Bar Association in the United States. The award is named in honor of Ron Brown, the first African-American to chair a major U.S. political party and the first African-American to be appointed Commerce Secretary. The Black Tie Gala was attended by over 800 black lawyers, including 2 past National Bar Association presidents and several elected officials. Receiving the award, Adesina lauded the late Brown as an inspirational figure who believed that every idea was an impossibility until it is born.
To find me this great honor, the Ronald Herman Brown Award of International Distinction. When I was selected, we had an idea called the High Price, to light up and empower Africa, to feed Africa, to industrialize Africa, to integrate Africa, and to improve the quality of life of the people of Africa. And within 6 years, these high prices have become the central driver of Africa's transformation, impacted the lives of 335 million people.
Other award recipients include the NBA's Chief Policy Officer, Alicia Hurgis, who received the organization's highest award, Haja Alima Mahama, Ambassador of the Republic of Ghana to the United States, and Camille Oluforobi, CEO, Most Influential People of African Descent. The National Bar Association was founded in 1925 and is the oldest and largest national network of predominantly African-American attorneys and judges. It represents the interest of approximately 65,000 lawyers, judges, law professors, and law students. The NBA is organized around 25 substantive law sections, 10 divisions, 12 regions, and 80 affiliate chapters throughout the United States and around the world. U.S. kills the leader of Al-Qaeda in a drone strike in Afghanistan, just as Turkey expects first shipment of Ukrainian grain after midnight. Uche Wuchukwu tells us more on Global Scene.
President Joe Biden has confirmed that the U.S. has killed the leader of Al-Qaeda, Ayman al-Zawahiri, in a drone strike in Afghanistan. He was killed in a counter-terrorism operation carried out by the CIA in the Afghan capital, Kabul, on Sunday. Al-Zawahiri and Osama bin Laden were said to have allegedly plotted the 9/11 attacks, and he was one of America's most wanted terrorists.
For decades, he was the mastermind behind attacks against Americans, including the bombing of the USS Cole in 2000, which killed 17 American sailors.
The coordinator of Istanbul's Joint Coordination Center, the organization overseeing Ukrainian grain exports, says the first officially authorized shipment since the Russian invasion is expected after midnight in Istanbul. The Sierra Leone registered ship set sail for Tripoli in Lebanon from Odessa on Monday. The 5-month halt of deliveries from war-torn Ukraine, one of the world's biggest grain exporters, has contributed to soaring food prices. Meanwhile, evacuees arrived the city of Pokrovsky in central Ukraine. This comes days after President Volodymyr Zelensky ordered the estimated 200,000 people to evacuate from the frontline region of Donetsk. Trees are burnt and buildings in ruins after California's biggest fire of the year ripped through the Klamath National Forest in the northwest of Raqqa. Hundreds of personnel were involved in the fight against the fast-moving fire, which has torn through more than 55 acres near the border with Oregon, forcing thousands from their homes. Kenya's power utility firm has launched plans to build infrastructure that will enable the charging of electric vehicles countrywide. A 6-month trial phase is expected to start in September in the capital, Nairobi, before going to other major towns across the country in 2 years' time. The government hopes to increase the share of electric cars to reach 5% of all vehicles imports by 2025. That's the global update. I am Uche Ugochukwu.
Thank you, Uche, for the updates. The Nigerian Export Promotion Council, as part of its drive to expand non-oil export to East African countries, has established a Nigeria Export Trade House in Nairobi, Kenya. Comfort Amodu brings us details of the unveiling from Kenya.
Talking business, sharing ideas, and advanced ways to strengthen trade between Nigeria and Kenya and the regional economic bloc. These business tycoons and diplomats are excited about the renewed partnership and prospects of elevated bilateral relations between Nigeria and Kenya, especially with the presence of the Nigerian Export Trade House now domiciled in Nairobi, Kenya, established by the Nigerian Export Promotion Council.
You know, in West Africa, we all know that you have the best shea butter. The commodity, in terms of commodities, why aren't we actually getting shea butter here in East Africa? We're actually getting from Uganda or South Sudan. Those are the things which we feel we can actually benefit from this, endeavor we've actually just established with the Export Trade House.
We are making plans with this Export Trade House that we just commissioned. We are making plans to see how we can ship that product down to Kenya.
The basic products of textiles, pharmaceuticals, of course you've got a great oil and gas sector, so we can look at those kind of things, where you have been very strong and we are coming up as well.
For the business community in Kenya, this is the beginning of market integration between Kenya and Nigerians and a path to reducing the trade barrier in regional economic bloc in Africa. From Nairobi, Kenya, I'm Comfort Amodu, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. Time to take a breather. More reports ahead. Do stay with us.
The National Broadcasting Commission has observed with concern the misuse of the airwaves to propagate incendiary materials by different groups in some broadcasting stations in recent times. While appreciating the need for educating, informing and enlightening the public on issues bordering on our national development, the Commission wishes to seize this opportunity to advise broadcasters to be circumspect in the handling of news and current affairs programs by exhibiting the necessary professionalism. Consequently, the Commission implores broadcasters to advise guests and/or analysts on their platforms not to polarize the citizenry with divisive rhetorics in driving home their points. Ensure that every news and current affairs program conforms with the provision of the Nigeria Broadcasting Code. Take their social responsibility requirements seriously. Therefore, the Commission reminds broadcasters to be guided by the provisions of the Nigeria Broadcasting Code, especially the underlisted sections 5.3.3b. The broadcasters shall, in using political materials for news and current affairs programs, avoid hate speech, inflammatory, derogatory, and divisive remarks or allusions. 5.4.1f. The broadcaster shall not transmit divisive material that may threaten or compromise the indivisibility and indissolubility of Nigeria as a sovereign state. 5.5.6. The broadcaster shall have a delay mechanism to guard against possible undesirable content. Please note that every broadcast station is responsible for the content it transmits and shall be held liable for any content in violation of the Nigeria Broadcasting Code. Be advised. Signed, Malam Balarebe Shehu Ilela, Director General, Announcer.
What does it take to get ahead in today's world? To get your dream job, the perfect girl, even a table at your favorite dance club. It takes moving fast. It takes moving at the speed of 4G. With Intel 4G LTE, you've got it all covered. That's because you have access to super fast unlimited data that enables you move as fast as the speed of light. Now no download is too heavy, no conversation too long. Nothing is impossible. Get Intel 4G LTE Advanced today and do so much more. Intel. Live more.
You're still watching the news on NTA International. The federal government has disbursed the sum of 66 billion naira to more than 1.2 million beneficiaries across the country under the MSME Survival Fund. Minister of State, Industry, Trade and Investment, Miriam Katagum, disclosed this during a town hall meeting in Abuja. Benny Adams reports.
Cash is responsible for these smiles, and the testimonies are evident to the fact that government delivered on promises made.
We really benefit and we really appreciate the money we got help our staff in the long run to cushion the effect of our inability to meet up some certain payment of their salary.
But like Oliver Twist, they want more.
Our members are more
like a caring parent, more money, capacity building, and access to market is coming the way of macro, small, and medium enterprise business owners across the country.
To date, the fund has disbursed the sum of 66 billion and 20,000 directly to 1,258,183 beneficiaries, including those represented by the PAC. And I think the icing on the cake is all these 1.2 million beneficiaries, we can track them.
The town hall meeting highlighted the scheme's achievements in the payroll support scheme, artisan and transport scheme, formalization support scheme, general MSME grant scheme, and the guaranteed take-off scheme around the country. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Let's talk disaster management. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has convened a strategic stakeholders workshop to quickly harmonize strategies that would effectively mitigate emerging flood disasters across the country. Director General of the agency, Mustafa Habib Ahmed, stated this at the opening of the National Consultative Workshop on the 2022 Flood Preparedness Mitigation and Response. Ilyasu Yakubu reports.
This annual strategic workshop usually draw participants from the state emergency management agencies, the military, Road Safety Corps, Nigerian Red Cross Society, civil defense, and other stakeholders in the management of floods. It is to review previous strategic management response and mitigation of flood in order to identify areas of improvement in tandem with the present realities.
It is very clear that early preparedness is the key to mitigating disasters like this.
Our expectation is for us to now go back home and see where we have to improve our preparedness.
Minister of Humanitarian Affairs Sadia Umar Farouk represented said flood disaster requires high-level collaboration among various stakeholders.
This workshop is highly imperative at this point when flooding has taken a toll on some parts of the country.
Director General National Emergency Management Agency NEMA Mustafa Habib Ahmed said the agency is not resting on its hours in providing effective platform for managing flood disaster across the country.
Also, in the event of occurrence of the predicted flood disaster, NEMA will activate the emergency operation centers for search and rescue and needs assessment, as the case may be.
The impact of flooding on farmlands and farming activities have posed a great threat to food security in the nation.
The strategic workshop is expected to harmonize efforts to prepare and ensure strategic response mechanisms that will minimize loss of lives, property and livelihoods in the event of floods across the country. In Abuja, Ilyasu Yakubu, NTA News.
2 suspected drug barons have been arrested by NDLEA for operating methamphetamine clandestine laboratories in VGC Estate, Lekki, Lagos, and a community in Oka, Anambra State. Abdulmalik Hassan tells us more.
Miri, known as methamphetamine, has become one of the major illicit substances produced in Nigeria. Its effect is devastating on users and believed to last longer in the body system than cocaine. So at the headquarters of the NDLEA, a press briefing holds. You could tell a disturbing competence has been discovered.
On Saturday, July 30th, 2022, when officers and men of the agency successfully busted 2 methamphetamine manufacturing facilities called meth laboratories, and the 2 laboratories were effectively decommissioned.
258.74 crystal meth retrieved, various chemicals and paraphernalia recovered. An estimated 50 kilos of methamphetamine on a weekly basis is said to be produced by these labs. At $500,000 per kg in the global market, you could tell why the production. But then, the implication is devastating.
NDLEA is obliged to brief the public about this recent bust to raise people's awareness of the danger that meth production constitutes to public health. The owner of the laboratory in VGC, for instance, was producing this highly unstable and toxic drug in a house where he lived with his family. This speaks volumes about his insensitivity to the consequences of exposing his family to the danger of hazardous chemicals.
To the public, the NDLEA give an advice. Be vigilant to your environment. Abdulmalik Hassan, NTA News.
And next, some sporting stories.
The West African Football Union has confirmed the new date for the zonal qualifiers for the 2022 CAF Women's Champions League. The zonal qualifiers will take place from August 20 to September 2, 2022. This tournament, which is second in the series, is scheduled to hold in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. 7 clubs will participate in the competition, including Nigeria's NWFL champions, Bayelsa Queens, who are in Group B. In Taekwondo, ahead of the Kuki 1 certification coming up in October in Nigeria, the Nigerian Taekwondo Federation has organized a 5-day National Pumse Seminar Kuki 1 Dana test, which ended at the National Stadium, Lagos. For the Federation, the event, which had Kuki 1 Grandmaster from Korea as the chief examiner, became necessary to upgrade its coaches and athletes in line with the International Olympic Committee rankings.
Once you're not Kuki 1 licensed instructor, you are not recognized, you are kicked. So what we are trying to do is to build the capacity of our own instructors locally in here to international standards.
In squash, over 50 players from various parts of the country featured at the Frigate National Squash Open Tournament, which ended at the Korea Club, Lagos. The 5-day tournament, which was in 2 categories, under 16 and the seniors, was put together by the Nigerian Squash Federation. It was aimed at developing talents from the grassroots in the sport, as well as rack the senior players ahead of major international tournaments. In boxing, the 120th edition of the Lagos Boxing Show was held at the Molade Okoya Thomas Indoor Sports Hall of the Teslim Balogun Stadium, Lagos. The organizers have been consistent with the fielding of juniors and female boxers at the championship. A total of 10 bouts featured in various weight categories. The Lagos Boxing Show, which comes up every month, is one of the nation's resource centers for the discovery and grooming of talent in boxing. With sports update, Gift George, NTA News.
And that ends the news. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to always connect with us at the NTA. Take action against rape and rapists. I'm Elizabeth Omori, and our sign language interpreter is Shegun Ajayi.
The day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
Our pastors, our imams, in every church, in every mosque, please realize that in the course of praying for peaceful and transparent elections, we all have duties beyond prayers. If we want a stable society before, during and after the elections, what should you be saying to those that worship with you? All Sundays and all Fridays, you are saddled with the responsibility of bringing up good generations. It is therefore your duty to both man and God to ensure peace all the time, no matter about elections alone. People talk to people and people listen. Talk to your followers. Make them listen to ensure peaceful 2023 elections. This message is from the National Orientation Agency. To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Technology is the practical application of scientific knowledge or inventions in order to solve everyday problems and facilitate human activities. As a matter of fact, the products of science contributed immensely to the development of the Western nations and the Asian tigers, because professionals in those climes were able to invent machines and equipment used in industries, hospitals, agriculture, automobiles, aircraft, and so on. All these were achieved through homegrown technology, not imported technology. That's exactly the thinking of those who created and established the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, the agency that has the capacity to entrench homegrown technology, as you may have observed in our previous editions of NASENI Milestones. In today's package of the program, we will take you to the oldest NASENI Research Institute, the Scientific Equipment Development Institute, SEDI, in Enugu. This is where a whole lot of scientific and technological activities take place. The institute has excelled in the production of science teaching equipment, glasswares, machine spare parts for industries, as well as agro-based machinery. There are more to appreciate of SEDI Enugu, including advanced manufacturing. Now let's take you there. Today we begin our tour of SEDI Enugu with a stop at the Electric Laboratory, a section of the Electric Research and Development Department, where teaching and learning equipment are manufactured. Uzo Henry Nemeka is our guide.
Here we display some of the teaching equipment produced here in SEDI. One of them is this. This is the basic machine trainer. This is a trainer that helps students in the tertiary institution to understand the behavior of electric machines, especially the electric motor. They need to understand the effects of voltage variation on this machine. This can be understood with these digital displays you have here, the voltage, the currents of the motor. They would need to understand the behavior of this motor and how these characteristics varies depending on the parameter you changed. Here we also have our electronic bench sheets. This bench sheet is where an electrical engineer or electronic engineer can do all the practice that he wants to do. He can run various experiments because it has a variable AC and variable DC, where you can actually get whatever voltage you need and also perform all kinds of experiments, being sure that a circuit breaker there can always help to take care of whatever short circuit or any problem that the circuit may have, especially because it's designed for students who can make some mistakes, so that when such things happen, the breaker, which is the protective device, can help to handle the situation. Here we have the power electronics trainer kit. The power electronics trainer kit is what the students use to study behavior of solid state devices in the control, processing, and conversion of electrical power. It doesn't matter where you are, you can have your AC, you want to take it to DC, that is power conversion. You have your DC, you can want to take it to DC, you have it. That means it has an AC to AC converter, it has AC to DC converter, DC to DC converter, and also AC to DC converter. This is because the power we have in our house, especially what we use in our television, you have your AC coming into the building, but that is not actually what the television needs to work with. They need to understand how to take this AC to a DC, and that means rectification. They need to rectify these alternating currents to get a direct current supply, which the appliance need at that point. Also, the DC to DC also, you can also find, you want to have a DC already, but then you want to take it up to a level, a higher level, or you want to take it below what you have as your source. This also let them understand what and what you need to put in place to have this power converted to what you actually need.
At Scientific Equipment Development Institute, Enugu, science equipment for teaching basic sciences are produced. These equipment can also be referred to as demonstration equipment, which are inevitable in science class teaching environment. Let's now meet Dr. Ifem Ozihu, Head of Material and Equipment Testing Laboratory.
All the equipments, science equipments we use at basic levels are produced in Sede Enugu. And most of them are used for demonstration work. But this is a little stand. It demonstrates what? Pendulum experiments. We have for chemistry, billet stand. This is what? For biology equipment. Cut section of what? Leaf. Dicot roots. Leaf. We have the eye models. We have the stop clock. We have test tube and test tube rack for practical experiments in chemistry. We also have what we call the root system. The root system is produced here also in Sede Enugu. Used to teach about what? To teach transport system in plants. We also have different types of beakers and glasswares. And these glasswares and beakers are produced in Sede Enugu. When you go around, you see them. Most of them are used at basic levels to teach sciences at basic level, and also post-primary school systems, like in secondary school. During examination and WAEC, this lab is designed to carry out all the experiments required by what? WAEC examination. That's an improvement. Therefore, we extend our services to natural sciences. My right-hand side, you see different types of microscope. Meteorological microscope, binocular microscope, monocular microscope, centrifuge. Then, distillation equipment. We also see electrophoresis machine here. We also have analytical weighing balance. These equipments are for natural sciences. We move from basic sciences to natural sciences. In our universities, at 300 levels, all the equipment we have here can accommodate them. They come here for research work. This one is what? Viscometer. Used to measure viscosity of a liquid. I told you before, this one is for DNA test. We have sensitive weighing balance. We have magnetic stirrer. We have a setup for distillation method, a simple distillation method. Most of the secondary schools, this lab contains both chemistry, physics, and biology, extended to geography, at which all the equipment we have here can be accommodated or used in teaching science subjects. And because of that, we have some of measuring equipments, something like Richter stand. We have measuring cylinders. We have voltmeters. We have ammeters. We have potentiometer. They are the product of Sede Enugu. Then we have what we call meter bridge. We have meter bridge here. We have meter bridge. We have ammeters, as I told you. We have stop clock. In engineering, we have engineering testing equipment. Different types of engineering testing equipment. This one is called compression testing equipment. It is used to test strength of bricks. For example, the bricks you have here, you check for the strength of the bricks. The compression testing equipment will give you the strength and also analyze and plot the graph. We also have the one we call universal testing machine. This one does compression, it does tensor test, bending and flexural test. This one is what? A multi-purpose type of what? Testing equipment. It contains all the testing equipment in one unit. This is produced in Sede Enugu. This demo is called total internal combustion engine, reciprocating tap. It is used to teach the strokes of internal combustion engines, how fuel is burned in the carburetor. We have the inlet stroke, we have the compression, we have the power and the exhaust. Two of them are internal combustion engines.
The optical section of Sede Enugu is where lenses and other allied products are made. Let's join Mr. Belongu Okechukwu and his team.
We produce what we call biconvex lens, biconcave lens, plano convex lens, concave convex lens. triangular prism, rectangular prisms, telescope, periscope. These are the product of optical section of Scientific Equipment Development Institute. And the production is not far-fetched. We have glass as one of our raw materials. We have another powder we call silicon carbide as our material. We have what we call Xerox powder for polishing. So with this, the production is in chain. We cannot do without the other one. This is a new dimension 10 cm by 7 cm or 100 mm by 70 mm. That's what we do. So they are now etching the mirror so that it will not cut somebody's hand. That is what they are doing. Now, like I was saying, the production is not perfect. These are the machines. With this now, we can, it's manual and labor intensive. So with this, we can now produce all these products that you are seeing here. This one is what we call biconvex lens, placed into the handle. So this one magnifies 3 times. We have this one as another convex lens, but this one magnifies 8 times. We have what we call concave convex lens. This is concave convex lens. This is another concave convex lens. Then we have this one as plano convex. Plano in the sense that a side is flat, while the other side projected outward. Then we have what we call rectangular prisms. They are of different kinds. And with these rectangular prisms, they are used in physics department for physics experiments. Then we have another one called triangular prism. This is triangular prism. And we have this mirror that I have explained placed at the base. So with this, there is a physics experiment. Then this is what we call telescope. Telescope, you can use it to see something that is very far. If you draw it closer to you, and you'll be able to identify the object. And we call this one periscope. At times, periscope is used in submarine. And with this periscope, you can see something above your head. Then you can see something, if you slant it, you can see something by the side. That is periscope. It is not a lens, but a mirror placed at an angle of 45 degrees and in oval shape. This is periscope. Like I said, look at the production now. If we want to produce ×3 magnifier, we have it 10 mm thickness of glass, cut to dimension, place it like this on this mushroom. Then when we place it like this, what we do is to grind. By the time we grind, we get something like this. This is the grinding. As the thing is grinding, because of the nature of the cow and the mushroom, it determines the focal length. The curvature of the length determines the focal length. So we can now grind it by the time we finish, we come to this point. This is the end. When we grind, fine grind or pre-polish, then we polish. Then after polishing, then we can now wash with alcohol. And after washing, then we will have something like this as the end product. So this is what we produce. Then the same thing applies to other lens. Even the rectangular prism, triangular prism, we cut to dimension, put it in our disc, grind with what we call silicon carbide in this machine. Then when we grind, then we get it to a point, then we do the pre-polishing then. This one is cutting, we call it circular disc cutting machine. We use it to cut the glass that is so broad, so big, that we cannot even cut from with the diamond cutter. We are ready to work. And if all things being equal, this place sky will be our limit.
Up ahead is the glass blowing workshop, and that's where glasswares are manufactured. Here we have Emorizo Emmanuel and Emmanuel Obum.
What we do here is we try to fabricate laboratory glasswares. All the glasswares used in the lab, we can make them, we can repair them, we can maintain them. That is our thrift production here. Then all those glasswares are made from glass tube. We don't make glass per se, but we use glass tube to fabricate all those things. We make test tube, we make condensers, we make all types of flasks, we make all types of beakers, all the rods, all the glasswares you can see in the lab. We can produce them here using the simple glass tube, which comes in two different types, the hard glass and the soft glass. The hard glass is called borosilicate, the soft is called soda lime. This tube comes in so many diameters, from 5 mm to 100 mm. Then once you cut the tube, then you cannot put it to shape and shape it to whatever you want to do. And that's how we can make our testo funnel, we can make our centrifuge tube, we can make our gas dryers, or what's called U-tube with arm. We can make the measuring pipettes. Also, the condensers. Also, we make here the condensers using the same glass tube to make it. We can make a variety of, even the water filter pump for organic filtrations. This one is used for organic filtration. It is called water filter pump. All these things are what we can produce here. Then down to the display kits to display raw materials. All these are our products. Even the droppers, you can see at times you need to drop a little liquid into a cement, then all the droppers we can make them here. Even the laminar tube loss, you can see it is small but very important to calculate the losses in a tube. That's what this one is normally used for. Even the coil condensers, the coils, you can see all these are condensers, are coils made of glass used to make the condensers that can distill even alcohol, and that's why they are used here. Also, we make the water level apparatus. This shows you that water test is level. You can see the tubes are different, and water can always be in the same spot with all of them. Then the water level apparatus. All these things are what we make. Using here also we use integrity to work. We use butane gas, oxygen gas, and compressed air. The mixture of the gases now will now melt the glass for you, and once it is melted, you now can blow it to shape. You can join it, you can cut it, you can put it to shape, and once those things are done, you've gotten what you want, what you need by the glass. You can put it to shape, blow it into a U-tube, blow it into a bulb, you can join it, you can even